The word permanent resident has the word permanent in it, meaning you are a permanent resident of the United States of America. But it doesn't mean that you are permanent forever. You will never be stripped of your permanent resident status. There are reasons, there are things, if you do, they will take away that permanent residency status and deport you back to your home country. So what are the things where a permanent resident can be subjected to deportation? That's why usually we talk about the difference between a green card holder and a US citizen, because a green card holder or permanent resident can be deported back to their home country. Number one, we call the crimes of moral turpitude. So there are certain crimes can be severe, higher magnitude, which can lead to deportation. For instance, when you have the following crimes, you can be in trouble. So let's say you have felonies, you become a felon, aggravated felonies, you will be deported. For instance, someone doing theft is subject to deportation. Someone doing fraud, you are subject to deportation. Someone doing the destruction of properties. That's why I usually tell people, if you're a green card holder, stay away from politics. You might just go these crazy ideas, oh, these are human rights. Okay, I'm going there and you storm these crazy ideas about defund the police, you storm the building. If American is going to be caught, it's different from green card holder, because you have distracted property of someone, or might be government building. You might be subject to deportation. So you have to look what type of things you are going to do. Especially when a green card holder, you are walking on the eggshell. You are permanent, yes, but the things can go south at any time. Other things which can be going to make you deported. If you do, let's say, domestic abuse, domestic violence, that can be one among the reasons people can be able to be deported. And this deportation can do into two even ways. You can be caught doing something, or during the background check, before you become a US citizen, if you want to become a US citizen, if they do the background check and they found out you have done some of these things, you'll be into trouble. Another one is driving under influence, DUI. That is subject to be deported. I'll give you an example how severe this is. And that's why I tell people, when you come to America or you go to this Western world, make sure you understand the laws and regulations of the country. Don't leave that country as if you are back in your home in African country. For instance, it's very common in most of communities in Africa, someone going to work, especially men, after coming to work, because of the traffic or because of the tendency they have, you go with your friends, grab some beer, and then after that you get into the car, you drive back home. If you get caught drinking and driving, that is big trouble. They might not go to that far, maybe because you haven't caused accident. Assume you have caused the accident and you are green card holder, you are driving under influence. Obvious, jail time, deportation. But there is this crazy part. If, let's say, you have a car, maybe you had a beer and it's half of the bottle. You put the container back, and that bottle is still in your car. But maybe the next day or 2 days later, 1 week later, you are not drunk even a sip of alcohol, but you get caught with the alcohol bottle already opened. Even if you put it back, but it's already drunk, it's called the open bottle, you'll be considered like almost similar on someone with the driving under influence. So these are some of the things. If you commit sexual abuse, if you commit, especially sexual abuse against minors, if you perjury court, you go to the court and you start lying on the court, you do human trafficking, you do murder, you do money laundering, you do all these like drugs, all this kind of crazy stuff, you'll be in so much ways you can be removed back to your home country. So you have to understand that by being given and labeled as your permanent resident, it doesn't mean permanent. It is just a status which allows you to stay there without disturbance of applying for the visa all the time or asking for the work permit. After 10 years, you'll be renewing. But it doesn't mean that if you do something like that way, you can be going to treated like American citizen. Because you are not going to have everything. You're just still like a guest in another country. If you want to be fully enjoying everything, you have to go to become a US citizen. Because if you are a US citizen, naturalized, you became a green card holder, then you become a citizen, even if you commit any of these crimes I'm mentioning, they are not going to do anything to you of the issue of deportation. You will be prosecuted, going to jail sentence, whatever it is, like any other American. So those are the things you need to consider, that you are on the eggshell. You are on a way that still as a visitor, anytime you do, they'll be watching you, tracking you, in the sense that these kind of mistakes, they are not acceptable. You'll go to jail and you'll be deported back to your home country.